Okay, so now we're on part 2 of this big dookie, or medium dookie. Medium dookie? Medium dookie. It's 1960 model military generator with a Continental flathead 4-cylinder engine. This is a Fairbanks Morris Magneto that we're looking at here. And if you can thumb back to the next video, you're going to see where we kind of just acclimated ourselves on it, got some batteries in it, and just turned it over. And we did have a pumping fuel pump. However, you know, it's on the over here where this line is connected, it's actually dripping a little bit out of the weep hole, which the diaphragm is ruptured. So I kind of anticipated that. So it'll work enough to probably get it running. We're going to put a fuel filter in line so it doesn't pump a bunch of diaphragm material into the carburetor, if the carburetor even works right enough to get it to run. But we don't have spark. And there's a couple of things going on here. Let me go and explain. Like I said, it's a Fairbanks Morris Magneto, which normally there would have been an ignition coil in this little open area, but it looks like somebody's gutted that. And I've seen this done before, where something may have happened to the coil or something, the magnets may have lost their magnetism and it won't build any charge, you know, because a Magneto is sort of self-contained. It doesn't have to have power to make it spark. It does it by you know, permanent magnets and the movement of the little piece that's up underneath here. Springs could have went out, anything. So what somebody's done is they just facilitated the opening and closing of these ignition points, which are very dirty. I can zoom in a little bit more and you can see. I'll try not to move the video too much, but very dirty. And so that's a problem. Not a big problem. And they facilitated these and drilled a little hole and ran the wire out and just opening and closing and breaking the negative side of the coil, which is kind of down. Let me see if I can, I'm trying not to shake the video too much. Right there, I've got an analog meter hooked up so that when we get connection of, you know, get the points cleaned up, we'll be able to see it actually work in real time, open and close. And that, right now, the ignition points are in their closed position. And you may have watched me do these in other videos, but it's fun to do it now. So we're gonna get, I'm sitting on a 5-gallon bucket and the rim is kicking my butt. Let me put something down here. Okay, that's not quite as bad. All right, so we'll start off with some, I've got a points file right here. And these things work if the ribbed part is a little bit worn down, so it's not gonna be very aggressive. But I guess we could knock the bulk of it off with that. So let me get in here and do that. We'll move this out of the way for poops and giggles. And we can see that we do have that. Okay, all right. I was watching my meter actually go up because I'm grounded right here. And you gotta be careful. This gear right here is not metal. It's actually some kind of other material. I think that is the same. So we're gonna be real careful lifting that up. We're gonna get underneath it. We're gonna clean it. Happy little clean. A nice little fun little clean. And I'll go ahead and get my air hose handy because but we don't want to close the points on that crud because it'll mash it down in there. So when it's open, we're gonna blow that out. And let's see here. So we've got the air compressor on and our hose handy hose. And we'll continue with the cleaning of this. Like I said, I'm using this the spring to kind of help me out. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was messed up a little bit, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. Like I said, being really, really careful about that gear and not breaking the teeth off of it, because that's something that happens quite often. I've seen the teeth will get broken on a little plastic gear. I've seen the material just get completely gone, like you know, the points material be so corroded that you do this and it just gone, it's gone. All right, so let's kind of hold that open. Take our air hose, clean that off, and let's just see if we've got any kind of continuity. Nothing. I'm not seeing. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Oops. Oh wow. Okay, we're good. Let's look at this in real time. So you can see by the powers invested in me, that is making some connections. So let me open these up. Now that's not right at all. We shouldn't have a ground right there. Something's going on. That's not right. We should open these up, and that should open the circuit, and we could have a shorted, we could, well, I don't know. We'll try and see if we see anything going on there. We'll see if we see a spark. We'll turn the motor over. But we didn't have a connection before. Let me see here what's going on. What in the world? That condenser acting a little bit funny. Huh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me just make sure we don't have some other weird stuff going on. I doubt we're going to see any kind of spark there. I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to hook the wire up, and then I'm going to put the batteries back in it because I got them on charge because I'm using junk batteries. And just turn it over and see if I see any kind of spark there. I figured I'd start the video back. Let me just take the condenser out of line and see what happens here. A little strange. I don't think I should be seeing that ground like that. I should be opening up on my meter. I think I know what it was. It's me. I'm the problem because I'm touching it right here on the bottom, and that metal gear is grounding me out. So let me see if I can get up underneath it with something that's not, where the conductive part is, because the metal band is going all the way up here to the front without touching the metal gear. Okay, that's working. Yeah, that's what it was. That was my dummy. Because that metal, this spring right here, which is connected up here at the top. Let me move up. Oh, let's see. Get to this where I was doing. I'll show you so you can see where I was making a boo-boo. I just noticed that. I was like, oh, look at that right there. So that metal spring, this is the spring, is all the way up under here. So if I get where I'm not making contact there, and I open it up, it actually works. I'll show you. And I'll hook the condenser back up, make sure that that's not an issue. I'll go back here to the meter. Now that when I'm open the gap on the points here, outside of that metal band, and you can, oh, my hand's in the way. I'm just all kind of not helping. Let's see if you can see that. Let's see here. You can see that actually working. I'm going to open the gap up. So that's a good sign. Okay, so let's hook the condenser back up and make sure we've got it going on there. Let's get back on our eye of the prize there. Sorry about the shaking of the camera. We'll hook that back up. Because sometimes condensers can do that. But I was just not paying attention to what I was doing. And that should help anybody else messing with some old points to diagnose what not to do. All right, here we go. I'll put that back on real carefully, making sure that this connection, oh snap, gotta put that back on. Look at me over here. I'm just full of not do it right. Nobody's perfect. We need to put this back on because that's going to be our wire that goes to the negative side of the ignition coil. Because that's what you break. You always break the negative side. That's how this works. Like I said, we've got to be sure that we don't get in a position where we're grounding out the happy little coil. Where did I put my socket? Oh, there it is. So we got that good and getting there. Come out and away from the, got room in the cap, so we'll be okay. I think that's acceptable right there, where this connection isn't touching any part of the body on the condenser or the capacitor, whatever you want to call it. That's all that a condenser is. That's your capacitive discharge. And we'll just, for Dukes and Googles, we'll hook to our wire that goes to the coil. Okay. And then let's go back to our beater. Down here, let's see if we've got a functioning set of points here now, which they need to be cleaned a little bit better, but I just wanted to just get an idea of what we're working with here. Now, my hand's all in the way. It's kind of tight. We don't have a lot of room. See if I can get where my arm's out of the way. Yeah, that's working. If I open them up and close it, you can see it working. And an analog meter is what you want to use for something like this, because it shows it a whole lot better than a digital meter when you're turning the motor over. You can actually see the blip of the needle, because a digital meter typically doesn't move as fast as you want it to. All right, so what I'm going to do is off camera, to save the length of the video, is clean them a little bit better with a little bit of emery cloth to make sure they're polished up real nice, but not take too much off so we lose our gap. Then we're going to bump the motor around and see if we actually see the meter blip. All right, we'll do a little bit of video cleaning, just a little bit. I got them up underneath here enough. I'll tell you what, it looks like. I think we can do this. We'll do this a little differently. How about this? Through the advent of technology, they have come up with these little awesome little battery-powered Dremel tools that, not super powerful, but I use these a lot on my ham radio repairs when I'm doing cleaning on relays. They come with all kind of fun little pieces in different sizes. I just did a repair on a SB200 and had to cut part of the circuit board out so I could get the new board in, and this thing would work so well for that. So we're going to use my little cleaning wheel and just kind of like just buff these things up real good. Oh, look at all the stuff coming off of there. Makes it look like brand new. And it's a little more forgiving than your emery cloth. We're going to do the same thing over here. I have a, see if I can get in here with this. Oh yeah, that's perfect. It can go faster. It could. And it's plenty powerful for what I want to do. Clean this little thing up right here really good. Go ahead and let's do the rotor button to get that nice and clean. All right. So we got that. We'll go ahead and put this in the shade over here. That looks really, really good. You can see that. We'll zoom back in and we'll get this back together. Oh, by the way, setting point gap. You want the points to be closed. You want your reluctor wheel away from your contact point, and we really need to put a little bit of grease on that. We need to put just a touch of grease. So we'll probably do that. I'm gonna, you see me disassemble it. It's just gonna go back together, put the piece back in it. But you want this to be away, your bump or your lobe to be away from this, so these are closed. And then, you can either gap it right here, or you can open up. Once you do that, you open it up at the very pivot point and you make sure your gap is there. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. There's very seldom times unless I'm a race vehicle, I don't even use a feeler gauge. I just kind of make sure I've got a little bit of a gap there, not too big. And if GM has a thing called a place where you can turn the dwell screw while it's running and actually set the dwell at like 28 to 38, depending upon the motor, but most GMs like 30 to 35 on your dwell meter. So let me go and stop the camera, get that back together, put a little bit of grease on that, and then we're going to check for spark. Okay, so I'm ready to check for spark. I'm going to turn the switch on. Let's get this. Okay, we should be on there. Let's see what we got here. Huh, it's still nothing. What in the heck? All right, time to regroup. So we did a real quick turning it over. We didn't have spark up here. I don't have the switch on yet, but what I did is I hooked up the meter like I was talking about, and you can see the meters, showing where I've got continuity. That means the points are closed. And I'm going to bump the motor one time and show you that the points look like they're working. See that? You can see that they're opening and closing. All right, so I'm like, man, and I've got power going to the coil, so I grabbed an old coil I had on the bench. Hopefully that's a good one. Let's set it back up and unhook our meter, of course, and then let's see if we get spark this time. All right, so we shouldn't have any trouble making that gap. I'm gonna turn the switch back on. According to my meter here, we've got power going to it. Like I say, this is just a coil I dug off of the bench that's old. Still nothing. See what we got here. That's okay. All right. So we're gonna figure this out. Well, we should be getting spark. Just for the heck of it, let me just go to a different wire in case I'm not, because some of the way they got these things in the cap, I question how they done that as far as like their ability to get them in there, right? And we should be, it should be working. We should be getting spark. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, okay. I seen something that time. I did. I don't know what's going on there. There's a real light faint. Now I may have two bad coils here because I just dug one out from under the. I'll be absolutely honest with you. That was totally unexpected. I did not know it was going to crank up, but they did. So it did, and it did. So let's put our ignition wire. Ow, that thing's already hot. Shit. Dang, burnt my hand. Wow, and I even seen it made voltage too. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't even mean for that to happen. This was supposed to be just checking for spark. I mean, wow. Let me move this out of the way here. Let's get I'm going to take the camera out of the stand, so it will be kind of shaky. Did not mean for that to happen. That is wild. Okay, so we're back. Let's go to the normal settings here. Okay, so we can go. Wow, that thing fired right up. Now, I don't know how well it's going to run like that. That carburetor, there's no way that's going to do that. I did see it make voltage. All right, let me see. I got to turn this back on. Check the oil because I just checked it before I had ran it and it checked out decent. So let's just see what happens there, then we'll plug something in and see if it works. See if I smell any gas on there. No, I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna check a few little things off camera and then we'll plug something in and see if it'll do the deed. The thing made 120 volts all day long. Sure did. You saw it. Okay, so we're gonna fire it back up now. I'll load test this thing, see what it does. We're going to flip the switch back on. itself down, so I don't know what happened. Let's see, did I get any fuel? No. I've got the gas tank way down, and there's no fuel going to it. That's probably what it was. I was running off of the bowl. Let's see here. Put that there to hold it still. Let's see. See if it'll pump any fuel. I don't smell anything burning yet. That's a good sign. Oh, except for these. Let me get that off of there. Yeah, the fuel pump may have took a dump. It was pumping gas before, but we'll have to check that and just see what happens. But it did run, and it made some power. And that's probably all we need. I need to change the oil anyhow, and maybe the fuel pump took a dump. It was leaking a little bit out of the weep hole. We'll do some more videos on this, but at least you got to see it crank up and run. Would like to see it hit one more time though. We're on video. I don't know if there's a little bit of fuel still in this thing. Try it one more time.